Now, Dr. Neil deGrasse Tyson has sunk to a new progressive ideology low, or woke low, if you will. I'm going to be completely honest with you here. I have historically been a fan of Dr. Tyson, and I even own at least one of his books. Now, at least the one I remember having read, I pretty much knew everything in there because astrophysics, planetary sciences, astronomy, those are all those are a passion of mine. I'm interested in knowing the real science behind, how the heavens go and gee, what would it take for life potentially to be out there somewhere besides on Earth. So I've had a big interest in this subject matter over the years. I don't have a lot of time to devote to studying that stuff anymore. I haven't studied it in a while or looked into it much lately. So as having been a fan of Dr. Tyson, I've taken in a lot of the things that he's produced over the years, and I found him making a lot of mistakes, a lot of really stupid mistakes too, that just would be easy to remedy, easy to resolve. But he, for some reason, wants to continue to dig deeper into stuff that doesn't make any sense and stand beside things that just don't make sense. Now, before we go any farther, I do want to thank everybody for stopping by and supporting my channel. Please remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. You can find me on Rumble, BitChute, Twitter, X, whatever you call it. Now, let's get into this here. The first thing I want to talk about is a video I made years ago about Dr. Tyson claiming that something about Columbus that he was wrong about. Now, I could grant him some grace on this because he's not a historian, but he shouldn't just be speaking and saying things that are not true. Here's the clip of the video.
Crew. So he asks the natives, would you please give us some of your stock that you have collected from your farming? Now, this particular group of natives only makes exactly the amount of food they need to tie to the next crop. They don't have surplus. So they said, no, we don't have surplus, sorry. Columbus knew that 1 week hence, coincidentally, there was going to be a total lunar eclipse where the moon in its orbit around Earth enters Earth's shadow. The full moon enters Earth's shadow and disappears. And the geometry of that event, it's just a simple lunar eclipse, but the geometry is such that sunlight passes around Earth through Earth's atmosphere and takes on sunset colors that leach into Earth's shadow, giving the moon, if you can see it at all, a deep red amber hue, almost the color of blood. Columbus said, and he knew about this because he had read the tables, the eclipse tables, all right?
Let me clarify this point here. He says Columbus read the eclipse tables. And when Neil's done talking, I'm going to go ahead and break down everything that he says here and clarify for you what actually happened. They actually had a book. He had the book with him on his ship, one of the few books he had with him that broke down the eclipse cycles for both lunar and solar eclipse.
We'd known enough about the solar system at the time we got that, okay? Actually, back then it was just the known world with Earth in the middle of the known universe. But that didn't matter. The rhythms of the universe were known. He says to the natives, if you do not give us food, my God, which is more powerful than your God, will make the moon disappear and it will turn blood red. That will happen in 1 week. You have 1 week to comply.
It was 3 days. 3 whole days.
Some of them were skeptical. What? You can't, what? Others said, shit, we got to do what this guy said. Look at the ships they came in. Their guns, their power, their culture. Look what they've got.
It was more than that, really. The natives claimed these were the men from heaven. That's what they called them. The men who came from heaven. You don't want to mess with heaven, do you?
Sure enough, right on cue, the moon begins to disappear. According to that is a famous woodcut. You got this? Those viewing the video of this?
Yeah.
That is a famous woodcut, and notice the natives bowing to him, and he stands proud.
It's interesting, this woodcut here. The natives are wearing clothes, but everywhere Columbus went, he said, oh, the natives are naked. Very rarely. I mean, I think on the mainland, they did cover their genitals, but that was it.
Because he knows the science. He knows the astronomy. He knew this. And so he invokes this to dominate people who are not yet scientifically literate. And within seconds of this beginning, they bring him all the resources he wants, and he gets. And we don't know what happened, back at the island, whether the people survived the winter.
Now, I've studied this topic, and those natives, they said we don't know if they survived the winter. No, they survived the winter. We have records of them surviving for several months after this lunar eclipse. So that's not really an issue that we need to concern ourselves with. And I watched him, I don't know, maybe a year ago on Michael Shermer's podcast. Michael Shermer is the founding publisher of Skeptic magazine. He is a renowned skeptic. Dr. Tyson said this.
I'll give an example. You didn't ask, but I'm putting it in here. I'm on the roll here. So,
That's all right. Go. Roll, baby.
One of them is, suppose there were aliens who were sort of sentient plants, okay? And they're coming to visit Earth. Earth was in their tour guide, the tour catalog, because Earth, they know, had rainforests and a huge plant biodiversity. And so they just want to see what's going on here. And these are aliens that live off of sunlight. And on their ship, they just have lamps that they lay in, and that's where they get their energy. So they've never killed anything in their entire lives. The idea of killing something to survive is like completely foreign to them. So they arrive at Earth and they see people who kill animals to live, but they don't really understand animals, okay? But they do understand plants, okay? Plants are their brethren. So they find another category of humans that exclusively kills plants for their survival. They would freak out, okay? They would say, what do you do? What? These are our people. They're just sitting there innocently gathering sunlight. They can't even run away from you. And what are you doing? You're cutting them down and you're eating them. Not only that, you are harvesting their reproductive organs specially to be consumed. The flowers, the nuts, the berries, all of this. They would just freak. And they'd continue to watch, and they'd look at people shopping in Whole Foods, and they'd see people in the produce aisle as infanticide. Because what are they doing? They're specially buying baby carrots, baby spinach, baby artichokes, baby eggplant, bean sprouts. And so the most barbaric living things on Earth would be the humans who are harvesting plants to be eaten. And they quickly run away. And they say, I think there's no sign of intelligent life on Earth.
Now, you're telling me that there are plants out there that are capable of locomotion and have complex enough thought patterns that they can build spaceships that will allow them to travel across the galaxy to Earth, but they don't have a concept of creatures subsisting on plant material. Really? I mean, we humans here are often thought of as, oh, we're so limited. We always say, oh, human beings are so boneheaded, so limited, they lack imagination. Even Dr. Tyson will say this. The humans can't come up with good ideas for aliens and stuff. They're always so mundane and just generic ideas for aliens, which we're going to talk about in a moment. But tell me, these plant people, these intelligent, sentient plants, can't conceive of animals. We humans can conceive of creatures that live on all sorts, that subsist on pure energy, that subsist on rocks, that subsist on other creatures that we cannot even know exist in the universe. But Dr. Tyson, he said things, but it's just boneheaded things. It's just like he said, oh, the alien only had 3 fingers. You know, it only had 3 fingers on its hand, but it was still just a hand. I mean, you can't come up with something more imaginative than a hand? No, Dr. Tyson, we really can't come up with too many things more imaginative than a hand that would be useful grasping appendages. Dr. Zoidberg proves that pincers are not such a good idea with this clip. Now, the one thing you could say is, oh, tentacles. We could have a tentacle or tentacles. That would probably be better than a hand, or at least as good as a hand. Yeah, that's true. And we have seen that. And if you think about fingers, they're not so dissimilar to tentacles. He praises the movie Arrival for its depiction of the aliens, and as I recall, he was talking about their hands. Like they don't have hands. I'm like, yeah, they do. Look at the screen. Here's an image of the aliens from the movie Arrival showing its 7-fingered hand or 7-tentacled hand. And maybe he's talking about the aliens overall. I don't remember. There's so many things I've watched from him over the years, and it's been so long. I don't remember all the particular details, but yeah, these are things that he said, and it's like, oh yeah, the aliens on Arrival were so different. That was what makes them cool. They're not like a humanoid, and maybe alien life would be very different from human life. Intelligent alien life would be very different from human life, but our intelligence and our physical bodies evolved side by side. Subsequently, the things we developed helped our intelligence evolve. Our intelligence helped our body evolve. So there's probably a decent chance that an alien would look like a humanoid. Who knows? I hope we find alien life in my lifetime so we can find out what that looks like. But I don't think we're going to find any alien life, let alone intelligent alien life, anytime in the near future. So good luck with that. Hopefully we have some sort of breakthrough in the next 5 years and start exploring alien lives. Now, of course, there's the trigonometry interview, which was just...
scientific knowledge to the public.
Yeah.
And that's why I was quite surprised to hear you talk about the idea that we all exist on a spectrum where you wake up one day and you feel like you're more female and more male.
Apparently, the XXXY chromosomes are insufficient because when we wake up in the morning, we exaggerate whatever feature we want to portray the gender of our choice.
Yes.
Suppose no matter my chromosomes, today I feel 80% female, 20% male. I'm gonna put on makeup. I'm gonna do that. Tomorrow I might feel 80% male. I'll remove the makeup and I'll wear a muscle shirt. Why do you care?
Yeah.
What business is it of yours to require that I fulfill your inability to think of gender on a spectrum?
Wow. Very, 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 very crazy. So Dr. Tyson wants to believe that, if I'm only feeling 80% female or 80% male today, I'm just going to cut off 20% of my reproductive organs and then grow those back on the day when I feel 100% male. Is that how this works? The thing is the wokesters, they want to decouple your reproductive organs from your sex, and I'm like, that's not how it works. This whole gender, it does not mean the same thing as sex. That those two words mean something different. That was, as my understanding is, it was pioneered at least in part by this guy John Money, who was a freaking nut job, terrible scientist, terrible researcher, tormented his subject that he was studying to the point where one overdosed and the other one ended up committing, the ultimate act and is gone. They're both gone because he tortured them to prove his theory right. His theory that humans are genderless until they hit puberty. He was wrong, and he couldn't stand that, so he tormented these children to get them to fit his theory. It's just not true. So as stupid as his comments about gender and sports are, I mean, he wants to level the playing field.
I think that a lot of people would have an issue with what you're saying, Neil, is because they see women being denied opportunities. They see an unfair playing field, metaphorically and literally speaking.
So fix the playing field, damn it. Don't say it's an unfair playing field, so all of a sudden the big issue is trans women taking the slot of a woman in an unfair playing field. Fix the playing field. And you know something? The day you fix that playing field, this conversation will look completely ridiculous. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
The playing field that is human biology. Man-woman biology. You're not going to level that playing field. But human biology, he's even said that we have the technology to do this today. No, we don't. We don't have the technology to turn a man into a woman into a man, or to make them, to reduce a man to like the halfway point of malehood, being somewhere in between, being somewhere around half male, half female, and do the same with a woman where she's half male, half female, and then they can compete. And I'm like, how are you going to do that? This is ridiculous. You're talking about taking away the fundamental building blocks of a species. It's not something you can just do. And why do I care?
Why do you care?
Well, let's imagine there is a person out there, and this is not too hard to imagine because we know this exists in the real world. Imagine there is a man who can convincingly dress and act like a woman. And you're a man, and you want to have babies. And then you meet this individual who's going to waste your time and energy and efforts. This is not okay, to be fooling men who want to have children into being, yeah, hey, I think you're cute, let's get together. And then it turns out, this person can't have children at all because they're not actually female. And that's just one example of why I care. Well, now he's moved on to demanding things because he is black. We have this article here from page 6. It's a new big bang as Dr. Neil Degrasse TYSON goes to war with MSG over all-white board. MSG is Madison Square Garden in New York. That's where he lives and works. We're going to skip the video because you have to read the video, so we'll just read the article instead. Talk about a big bang. Page 6 hears that there was a major blow-up between Madison Square Garden staffers and, of all people, Dr. Neil Degrasse TYSON over Rangers tickets this past weekend. Apparently, the famed arena offered him stubs to Monday's game, then swiftly withdrew the offer after, in a strange twist, he claimed its board was all white. That's weird. The bizarre back and forth began, we're told, when the astrophysicist asked for a handful of tickets to see the Rangers play the Colorado Avalanche. We are told the Garden readily agreed to give him some seats. Why would you do that? I don't understand. Like, if I go to you and say, hey, can I get a handful of tickets to see the game? They're going to be like, who the hell are you? You just give it to him because he's famous? Semi-famous? I don't understand why they would do that. But couldn't provide as many as he'd asked for. Then things began to spin off their axis. Apparently, Dr. Degrasse TYSON mentioned to the bafflement of Garden staff that it's Black History Month, adding that he noticed that there are no non-white members on his board. Yeah, so you're going to have to look at the screen again here for a moment. This is Dr. TYSON and his wife, his wife who he has children with. You can't use the I'm black and I'm special card if you're going to marry and dilute your racial ethnicity by marrying somebody and having children with somebody who is not the same race as you. Suddenly you don't have a leg to stand on when it comes to defending your race, because you're the one who's actually actively trying to reduce your racial characteristics moving forward. Sorry, that's just how it works. It seems that stunned and dismayed insiders, one of whom we're told somewhat oxymoronically referred to him as that idiot astrophysicist, swiftly voided the tickets they'd already given him. Good job. Yes, he's an idiot astrophysicist, and you should void his tickets. You shouldn't have given him free tickets anyway. Tyson pointed out to the staffers that the Garden's board didn't have any non-white members. Sounds like it'll be many moons before the good doctor can go to a Rangers game without getting an icy reception. I would think it would be many moons before he can go to the Garden, period, without getting an icy reception. And why does he need free tickets anyway? He's worth like millions of dollars, right? What is his net worth? Yeah, he's worth $5 million. Why would he need to get free tickets? I don't understand. He can afford to buy his own tickets, but working schlubs like me who don't make really that much money, we got to pay. We got to pay full price for ours. Perhaps he should try the LA Galaxy instead. Dr. Tyson didn't respond to our request for comment. A rep for MSG told us, Mr. Tyson is incorrect. We have several diverse members on our boards, and it wouldn't matter to me if it was an all-white board or not, and that shouldn't matter to anyone because it's not about the racial makeup of your board. Why would you bring this up? It doesn't make any sense to me. The insanity, this is a cult. It's just a secular cult. So good luck to you, Dr. Tyson out there. I hope you get your head on straight because you're spreading a whole lot of bad information to people. Anyway, thanks for watching. Here's your palate cleanser.
No, this is actually not quite as fake as you may think. It's called ball lightning, and it's an extremely rare phenomenon. Its causes are still unknown to this day, and there's not even a generally accepted theory either. All we really know is that they exist, and it looks unbelievable and kinda terrifying.